Another very weird video, so that one welcome. What am I doing today? Today we're looking at ChatGPT, and everyone who knows me from the NatV community knows that I despise ChatGPT, specifically for NatV learning. And I had another video about this a very long time ago, but that video was mostly about online translators, and at the end I look at ChatGPT for like a minute. And I wanted to make an updated video about how good ChatGPT is with NatV in 2025. And then a few days ago, another YouTuber actually in his Discord announced that he's doing an investigation into ChatGPT and how good ChatGPT is for language learning, namely Evil Deer. I think people who are a bit familiar with the general language learning space probably know his channel, or maybe know his channel. He does usually many investigations into polyglots, but now he does an investigation into ChatGPT. And I thought, hey, I can help out there. I can fill out the form for NatV. I can do a test for NatV, and I can also make an own video. I ended up not doing all the tests that he proposed. He proposed a lot of tests. I wanted to do all of them, but you see here, you fit the free plan limit for GPT-5. Yeah, I will not pay money to them now just for these tests. So I did two major tests, or like two tests, and these tests said enough. These tests really said enough. I don't think we need more tests. If you want to do more tests, feel free to do them and send me the screenshots and I can look at them. For the beginning, maybe I will go through the entire thing, through the entire conversation. So if you're interested in reading it, you can just stop and read through the entire conversation like this. Then you don't have to listen to me talking all the time. But the plan is that I will just go through most of the conversation with you, and I will point out how ChatGPT fails to know anything about NatV. So I can already spoiler you, so you don't have to watch the entire video if you don't want to spend an hour laughing at ChatGPT. It's bad. It's really, really bad. So no, ChatGPT cannot teach you NatV. It cannot translate NatV for you. It is really useless. Don't use ChatGPT or any other AI for any NatV related things. Ask in the community, ask people in the community to translate things for you, ask people in the community to help you with grammar or with vocab or anything. There are dictionaries that are really good, there are grammar resources that are really good. You don't need ChatGPT, and there is really no reason to use ChatGPT. But let's actually go into this. Let's look at what ChatGPT does. By the way, you might have seen here NatV teacher. This is another story from, I think, a year ago at this point. There was some guy on Reddit who was like, hey, I'm a great programmer. I programmed a NatV teacher for ChatGPT. And I tested it, and it was complete nonsense. And it turned out that great programmer who programmed us a NatV teacher, he did for his daughters, I think, he doesn't speak NatV himself, so he just tested it, and because ChatGPT told him it was correct, he believed it and was like, oh great, I programmed a great NatV teacher. So yeah, that's a completely different story. Some Reddit drama from a year ago that was very funny. But yeah. So I asked it, hey, can you translate some text from NatV to English for me? Of course, please share the NatV text you'd like me to translate into English. I originally wanted to do multiple different NatV texts, but I want to start simple with some messages, so I just copied messages that I wrote on the Discord in NatV, and there might be mistakes in there. In general, there might be mistakes in my NatV. I'm not ChatGPT, I can admit that my NatV is not perfect. So yeah, we get here, let's actually get rid of this. I'm not using it anymore, so who cares? Ne ia fitrs ngole I vinan tapukit. Stum hasesu di fura inan ni neitran se setsat ni wat wel ne mip is hinan de furia fra utslam ni wat o tun ivefu am ake. Lueru ana krtrai hanese beit si wuns hasesi vi vaitsa kr. And there I already found the first mistake. It should have been nise bei Zivun and not Nisebeit soon. My brain auto-corrected it when reading it. So yeah, what does that mean? This wasn't a conversation about a book, or actually not a conversation, but someone borrowed me a book, and I want to tell them that I finally started to read it because I was supposed to read it a month ago and never did. And so then I pinged them and said, hey, today I finally started to read that book. I almost finished reading it in Dutch, so I have the Dutch version. I had it from the library here at home, and they gave me the English version because that book was a bit too difficult for me to read in Dutch. I actually almost finished it in Dutch, but it was not fun. But now I want to again, or like newly read it completely in English, or I want to completely. I intend to read it again completely, so that I can be sure that I understand everything. I have a lot of time tomorrow, so hopefully I will be able to finish it then. That was what I said. What it says: today I finished planting the last seeds. I thought I had already done it the Neytiri way, but now I went back over everything to make sure everyone could clearly understand how I did it. I have a lot of time tomorrow, so hopefully I can continue working then. So what we see here is that overall ChatGPT graphs some words like today. That is an important word in the first. And then it also graphs the concept that I'm doing something again. Like I'm going back over something. So somehow, maybe it's just good luck. Maybe it's just lucky, but it somehow recognized it. But everything else completely different. Like, it's not even on topic. It has no idea that I'm talking about a book. It has no idea I'm talking about reading something. It has not caught up on the language thing, like the Nederland, which even if one doesn't speak of course, if you don't speak Dutch and don't know that Nederland is Netherlands, then probably doesn't make much sense. But yeah, it is completely off track. There is, like, the today is correct, and the going back over something completely, that is, like, kind of on topic. And I have a lot of time tomorrow. It, like, got this sentence. It got one sentence right, or one part of sentence. It got this part correct. It translated 5 words correctly. So, yeah, let's say it translated about 7 words correctly in this entire thing. And then there's natural. Yeah, do you want me to give a literal word translation alongside natural English ones too, so you can learn the phrasing more deeply? And I was like, no, because I was at that point only testing translation. Yeah, we have a lot to get through. Perfect, send me next chunk, blah blah. Snolei oi uvan allo Elden Ring CV tenkrr per nenatvi se oi vivarza kem CV zene oi vivarza kem CV. So I have to be honest, like, I have to be fair here. I didn't give ChatGPT any context, which is mean, but still, like, I didn't want to give it context, because if I give it the context here for this message is we were talking about I think we were talking about gaming, and we were talking about Elden Ring, so it was about the game, and there was a Navi pun about Elden Ring, so it was something about Elden Ring and Navi. And if I would now give it the context, then in which I say the sentence, then it would be far too easy for it to already figure out what the text is about. But I want to know if it actually kind of knows. Of course, ChatGPT doesn't know anything, but if it knows the words, so if it can see, oh, uvan, it is something about the game. Snei, it has something to do with starting. So I want to know if it can recognize these words even if I don't give it clues. So it's supposed to know these words even without clues. This is why I didn't give it any context, which of course makes it harder to translate. But the results show that it simply doesn't even know the base words. So context would have given better results probably, but it would not have said much. Because if I give you context about, like, if you are right now watching this and you don't speak Navi at all, and I tell you, we were talking about games and there was a Navi pun, then you could also give me a translation, like you could make up a sentence about something with Elden Ring and speaking Navi. But yeah, so what I said is I started playing Navi while speaking, I started playing Elden Ring while speaking Navi. I need to continue to do this. So I was referring to, I used to stream in Navi a lot, and I played, I think, the first 10 hours of Elden Ring while speaking Navi on stream. What it says, I finished playing Elden Ring. It's interesting, so Snei is to start, but it was like finished. But since I'm speaking Navi, I have to describe that action differently, which makes no sense at all. So yeah. Want me to then again ask about stuff like it's interesting for me. It always makes follow-up questions like, should I do this for you? Should I do this for you? And I'm like, no, I just want you to translate stuff. A simple one, verut oadivu, polus numena neid. Here the context was that someone was trying my Discord bot, Treze, and was giving him some tasks, and he is a very stupid bot. Like, I'm not a programmer. Everything is very simple, so he did some stupid stuff, so I was saying, oh, I'm sorry, he is a bit stupid, talking about that bot. Yeah, and the first part, verut oadivu, actually gets I didn't want to do this. How can I make this? It is not a good response. Okay, I guess ChatGPT will now think it did a good job. Good job, buddy. You got 3 words right. Okay, yeah. Forgive me, which is actually correct. Verut oadivu, literally, may there be forgiveness to me. So forgive me. They are just a little bit clumsy. Polus numina neid. Numina means stupid or dim, not clumsy. But except for this one word, they got it right. I think I said when I translated this, he is a bit stupid, but of course, po could be he or she, so they is appropriate, especially since they don't know, ChatGPT doesn't know the context. But yeah, one word is incorrect. I did this sentence because I wanted to test if it gets this part right, because already the old ChatGPT versions actually got specifically set phrases often right, set phrases and things from the movie. I tested a few more things from the movie today, and it got them not as right as I remembered them, so I had a feeling there has been some, like, not progress, but regress, I guess. But yeah, set phrases that appear on many different websites and that are on many cheat sheets for Navi, it often gets right. So verut oadivu is kind of a set phrase, it's an often used phrase, so it got it right. So yeah, the test, he did exactly what I thought he would do. Next sentence. Nga veru jeulasi, meaning you disappoint me. It get you inspire me. So it got the you and the me correct. So very, very, very often used words, of course. I should have tested probably the other way around, veru nga jeulasi, to see if it actually looks at case endings or if it just looks at the word order. I missed that. That would have been a good test. I forgot. And it got the verb wrong. But sentence structure at least correct. To be fair, there's a 3-word sentence in English, a 4-word sentence in Navi. You cannot get much of the sentence structure wrong here. Then, next one was Leo alu git si kev gaitok, tsun si varpomid alu terkop. And I also asked another questions. I wanted it to tell me what is different about this one. What different is it's, I think everyone who knows a bit of Navi sees that on first sight. It isn't Reef Navi. So I wanted to check, does it know Reef Navi? We will find out it does not. It really does not. It said me it's interesting because about the language itself. I mean, that is true, but not really relevant. Then it tells me the word git si isn't correct. You should use the word terkup instead. And it got the gist right, like it got the meaning right, but it didn't get the words right, if you know what I mean. So what I say is the word git si kev gaitok. So the word, sorry. Did I just try to translate Navi into Navi and just told you the Navi? I'm not very smart. Okay, so what I said actually is the word git si doesn't exist. But ChatGPT tells me the word git si isn't correct. Then I told the person, so that I did a correction in our chat, so there's the context here. You can use the word terkup. So they wanted to say that someone dies, and I was like, hey, git si doesn't exist, but you can say terkup. And then ChatGPT made us you can use, you should use instead. So yeah, then why it feels different from others, let's ignore this nonsense. I tried again to tell me that it tells me what's different, and it gives me something about pronouns, which is like, I don't care. I was like, no, I gave up and was like, okay, actually it's just a different dialect. Ah, got it, matsmukan tsmuke. This is actually very nice that it does this. This is correct. So matsmukan or matsmuke works. Yes, git si versus terkup actually is a dialectic difference between Reef and Forest Navi. And this is wrong. This is wrong. The sentence is in Reef Navi, but the way you can see this is not from these words. It is actually because it's very interesting also. Leu is Reef Navi and it made Leu out of it, which is Forest Navi. So it actually change the word here. But yeah, you can see the missing diphthong here. You can see that the G it is here instead of the so it becomes git in Reef. Then the tsun, the pomi, the terkup. So those are the things how you can see that it's Reef Navi. The git C is wrong in both dialects. So git C or git C, how you would pronounce it in Forest, just doesn't exist in the language. So there's not a dialectal difference. The terkup is the one you have to use in both dialects. But it is now like, oh no, it is wrong to use git C is like exists in one dialect. It doesn't. So basically it now is like, oh yeah, you're right, makes total sense, and then it tries to double down on stuff and it does it completely wrong. Yeah. It gets one thing right, which is like that everything else was forest, and the standard we usually see taught use, so that is correct. This one switches up into Reef, which was introduced in Avatar the Way of Water, which is correct. Reef Navi has some different vocabulary, terkup instead of git C. This is wrong. I mean, it has some different vocab, but terkup is actually to die in both dialects. Git C just doesn't exist in any dialect. A few phonological quirks, that's right. Slightly shifts on grammar usage, that's right. So I think this is literally what dialect differences are in every language. So it says things that are so broad that it cannot get it wrong. And I was like, it asked me if I want flags for which dialect it is, and I was like, oh sure, would be interesting to see what it says about this. Dann, Fraut, je warm. I have no idea what I said there. Like, may he eat everything? I guess something like that. I have no idea what the context here was. I would love to tell you. But yeah, without context, I would translate this as may he or she eat everything. Oh, probably we're still talking about the bot, and the command is like that you can feed the bot, and you can feed different things, and for most things it just tells you that it doesn't like them, and for some things that are on the list it tells you that it like them. And then probably we're talking about doesn't where like he should actually eat everything. But yeah, it says he or she gave food to everyone. They fed everyone. And that doesn't make sense. Fraut is everything. And yom, the base verb here, is to eat, not to feed. So yeah, then this forest Navi, that is correct. It used vom to feed food in standard form. That is not correct. So this is actually yom, to eat, in both dialects, with the EF infix, which also is in both dialects. The only way you can see in this sentence which dialect it is actually with the diphthong here. In Reef it would disappear and you would get Pol, Fraut, je vom. Then ignore how weird this looks. I copied this from the Pukzip, so from our newsletter, and I was too lazy to format it nicely, so it now looks like this. So there's just a very long text. Not a very long text, only a part of a longer text that I wrote for the last Pukzip. And what it is about my bachelor thesis. In my bachelor thesis I did a study with some Navi speakers, and it was about language transfer. So basically I looked at how does your native language influence how you speak Navi, because Navi is such a free language with very flexible word order and other stuff. So I looked at that. And so it is basically, this is text that is about word order. I think in the intro I'm mostly speaking about what am I doing here. So what did I do? That I'm studying linguistics, that I did this study, and then later in this beginning I only talk about Navi and its flexible word order. What I find interesting is that it gets the overall topic right. So it knows like it gets correctly that it is something about Navi grammar. It doesn't get the context at all that I did a study or anything, or like in which context I talk about Navi grammar, so it doesn't get that. But if we now read this, recently I studied words in different contexts, that's wrong. I think in the first sentence, well, I live yet you now numtseng. Yeah, I'm talking in the first paragraph, I'm actually talking about me, my linguistic studies at university, so I'm not talking about Navi yet. But yeah, it got right that I did a study about the Navi language. Here's the matter, like, no, that's not what I wrote. Should Navi, like many other languages, have a way of creating words by combining existing parts? And yeah, this is what it gets got hung up on. So it talks about making new words, forming words, which is absolutely not what I was talking about in the text. This was not about forming words, this was only about analyzing word order. And I think in the starting thing I didn't even analyze word order yet. I was just talking about NATVI flexible word order, showing some examples here. I think I did some math here to compute how many possible different sentences there are, or different word orders there are for one specific sentence. And it doesn't get any of this. It basically got that I'm talking about NATVI. It gets that I'm talking about something having to do with grammar. And it got that I'm talking here about an example sentence. This is what it got. Everything else in this translation, is wrong. Literally everything else. So yeah, it gets some words, and based on the few words it makes something up. Yeah, Forest NATVI dialect, it's clear from the morphology and vocabulary. No, that is wrong. We only, just for context, we currently only have 2 reef-specific words. Val, which is opposed to NATVI kaul, and Schaum as opposed to Forest NATVI or Mum. So we have exactly 2 reef-specific words currently. And it keeps talking to me about forest-specific words or vocabulary and whatever. It does that further down even more. So then I tested some 2 sentences from the movie. And then just very standard NATVI that you get on a cheat sheet as a beginner always, like all teachers will throw these sentences at you and explain to you what they mean. And by the way, this is where I had to stop at some point because ChatGPT 5 told me you can't use ChatGPT 5 anymore, so I didn't, for the test for Evil Dia, I had to use ChatGPT 5, so here I waited 5 hours, but then we got here. And then you see me then always putting multiple questions in one thing, just so I can get more tests done, in as long as I'm allowed to use it. Auver utari ohengeje, nauma satnok zrtoxiveyi. This is the very first NATVI sentence in the movie. As for our first meeting, may the Great Mother smile. To your first gathering, the Great Mother will smile. This is very close. It is not completely correct. I remember specifically testing this sentence in the past, it did it better. So probably that was just luck. But here it gets the overall thing, what I'm talking about, but it doesn't get the details. So it's not about your first gathering, it's about our first meeting. So basically may the Great Mother bless our first meeting. This is what's said here. So regarding our first meeting, may the Great Mother smile. Yeah, forest dialect, yes, it's all forest dialect here because I don't use reef very often, so forest is my standard. That means a stone sees more. And what ChatGPT made out of this is I see the rock more clearly, I see the rock in greater detail, which is definitely not what it means. indeed does mean more. Kame means to see, understand, yes, but it means spiritually seeing. Yeah, I see you and I'm happy about it. Tske, rock, so it gets the words actually here. But it fails to put together that tske is the subject here. So the tske, the stone, is seeing something and the stone is seeing more. So this when Tsute in the movie is like, hey, Jake is such an idiot, even a rock sees more. To be fair, this might have gotten, ChatGPT might have gotten this one better with proper context because a rock sees more is a weird sentence. But still, even if it's a weird sentence, a translator should not look at what makes sense. It should look at what is actually written there. Because some texts simply don't make sense. Some sentences simply don't make sense. So in my opinion, ChatGPT, even if I didn't give it some context, still completely fails here. I see you, I understand, recognize you, do you have peace, well-being, or more natural, I see you, are you well? Perfect. Cannot say anything here. And yeah, this is one of the most famous NATVI greetings, that's indeed true. it's probably just like, I don't like that they put this directly after Forstnavi, because that makes it look to me as if they're saying that this is a very famous greeting in Forstnavi, while it's actually universal in Navi as far as I know, at least for the two dialects we know, where Ngati Kameya is common in both of them. Then I did a very short text. Like, originally I wanted to do all the things I did before, like longer text, multiple messages and stuff with both directions. I also actually want to put in more things for Navi to English translation. I wanted to let it translated poem, a Navi poem to English and stuff like that. But first of all, as I said, ChatGPT 5 doesn't let me do much before I have to wait for 5 hours. And also it failed so badly that I decided that there is no need for more tests, honestly. Let's do the other way around. Today I drank a lot of water. Ne eat fitr William Bayuang nit an. No, this is not how you say this. It got some things right. So fitr, today. Then well, so we have the OAI with the L ending, so I'm the one doing something, correct? Yom is to eat, not to drink. Payuang is literally a water animal, so fish, not water. And then the an is much, but it is the adverb much. I guess that works here, but the Payuang is also missing a T ending. If we now pretend that it has a T ending to make the sentence grammatically correct, then it would mean today I drank a bit much of water, or today I ate a lot or much fish, a bit or a bit much fish. I have no idea. It doesn't make much sense. If I want to translate this, I would say fitr wenolek bite the an. I will later go to the pond to watch frogs. What did it do here? I have no idea what it did do here. Gesem put welfuta zisit amib sa o aingahu setza zengel ausitenkt sun oef ens juvetzilbei. Or simpler, gesem put fitr wel rivu neft ante eingid. The short one is actually grammatically correct. Of course, today I find the answer so much. I have no idea what that has to do with ponds and frogs, but you do you, ChatGPT. This one is a grammatical mess. I can try to translate, like, of course missing verb, that the new year comes with us, no, with you, plural, sorry, but that that place together can do something with the food, and then there's a random I and a random random vegetable in here. I have no idea what that is doing in here, and then it gives a different version, a second version, which is very interesting because this word doesn't exist, this word doesn't exist, this word doesn't exist, and what is left over is I, that, with the villagers give food. This is what's left over them. My mother came to visit me last week. Where sat nok de rokne au oe u zaufit onid amr. So the oe u is not a word. How we could interpret this is we put an L ending on the satnokil. We can put an L ending here to make it a bit better, and then we get rid of the tsao. Then we have a grammatically correct sentence at least, and what it would mean is my mother is in the 5 nights, or like occupies the 5 nights, like she is physically currently in the 5 nights. I have no idea in these 5 nights, sorry, I missed the fee. ChatGPT is more complex than my simple English can express. Hello, what's your name? Where are you from? I tested this because I wanted to have some simple just sentence in there, a simple sentence that's really just a set phrase. Kalt perfect translation. It even gives a good literal translation, so good. Then what place are you? L and T should not be here because it's intransitive, but yeah, the second part is not right. I'm from Germany, but I live in Netherlands. Oilo Rotameri, Germany. I am regarding the earth or whatever. I am Germany. Actually, Rotameri has like both the me on earth, but also topical, like regarding on earth, which is grammatically not good. I am Germany, but word that doesn't exist, Netherlands. Yeah, this is not correct. All of those are forest dialect, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This was the first part of the test I did. So I did a translation test for translation. This is what we get first. And now I did the second part where I tested how ChatGPT actually is as a NatWe teacher. So it's like, hey, I'm actually trying to learn NatWe. Can you explain to me how to use adjectives? Now it gets really interesting. That's awesome, Matsmukan or Tsmuke. NatWe adjectives are actually pretty straightforward once you see the patterns. Let me walk you through them. Adjectives follow the noun. That's new to me. I didn't know they do that, but apparently they do. Unlike English, blue flower, NatWe adjectives come after the noun they describe. So you heard it here first. New NatWe grammar rule has dropped. We now put our adjectives please after the noun and not before anymore. That's not allowed anymore. Siulang an, big flower. If you speak NatWe, you notice probably two mistakes here. An means much, like ana bai or baya an, much water. And big would be zaul. Yeah. So that's not right. And there is a missing a here. So usually you would connect the adjective to the noun with a. Interestingly, new brother it did correctly. Tsmukan amib. So it took the meep and it connected it to the noun with the a, which is correct. It doesn't talk about the a, and believe me, I definitely called it out on that later. Then attributive versus predicatives. Attributive attached to noun, the adjective comes right after the noun, it modifies, ja. Jerig ab a. A large hexabeat. Taronyu le trtr, a daily hunter. Strangely enough, it got them correct. Because it uses two special cases here, so you don't put the a if there is already an a, so up a stays up a, and you also don't put an a if the adjective starts with they, or you can use the a but you don't have to. So it kind of accidentally got two correct translations here, even though what is a daily hunter? Wait, what? It doesn't make any sense, but it is two correct translations. It completely failed to explain the rule here because it accidentally got two exceptions from the rule, which means it's still correct. But yeah. Predicative, then just with a verb that just like in English, but no is needed. But you use the is, you put lu in there, which in this context means is. So why are you telling me that no is needed when you literally put in the is? What? So that doesn't make sense. Po ap adu, he, she is big. Fitseng lulor, this place is beautiful. So for this part, it actually got all the examples right, but completely fails at explaining me the grammar behind it. So it, while being right, it completely failed. And here it, like you can see with the first example, that it actually has no idea how NatWe adjectives work. Then infixed adjectives a, that doesn't make sense. NatWe sometimes wraps the adjective around the noun with an a construction. This is optional, but gives flexibility in word order. For example, both of these mean the big ikran. Ikran ab a. So here again, this one is correct. I would not use ab a here, I would use zaul here, because ab a is more like a forest is ab a, so it's kind of wide. Like, but I would say an ikran is zaul. That's makes more sense to me, but that might just be a personal preference. And then it says ab a ikran e. Less common, more emphatic formal. That's an hallucination. It made that up. This doesn't exist. Interestingly, ab a ikran, I guess could be correct because they could just be left out lu. Ab a lu a ikran, the ikran that is big. So I kind of get where it's get that from, but the a doesn't make any sense. Adjective markers. NatWe adjectives often start with an a when used attributively. So here you see that it actually talks about the a now, but it kind of interprets the a, the a as a being the adjective, and then a putting it together. So this helps mark the word as descriptive. So it is kind of right here, but also at the same time it's very wrong. Multiple adjectives, you can stack adjectives after a noun. Ikran ab a lor amib. So here it's interesting. So like ab a, of course, is the full adjective, but according to ChatGPT, this is actually a with the a that points to the ikran. Then the meep, we will learn later, actually is, it understands that it's meep plus a, But then why does the Lord does not get the R? I will ask it that. Don't worry. We will get into this. Summary. Will farm put the adjective after the noun? Wrong. Use the R form. I mean, you use an R, but the way it explains it is completely wrong. If you want to say blah blah, then you use Lu, which this is correct, but in its first explanation it was like you don't need the word is, while Lu in this context just means is, so that doesn't make sense. Then ask if you want to get a mini practice exercise. Great. Practicing is very important, so thank you for offering that. Ewa ngahu, which doesn't make much sense in this context, so may Ewa be with you. Why? Is the conversation over? Are you saying goodbye to me? Why are you saying this? But yeah. Practice sentence gives me English practice sentences, which of course is alright. The sentences are exactly what I need, so I cannot complain about this. It speaks English, so we already knew that. Tips before I try, remember adjective of noun. No. Yes. Yes, that's also correct actually. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Conjunctions and for adjectives is se, that's also correct. Want to try translate these 5, and then I'll go through each with you step by step. So, now, writing this deterred, I put in so many mistakes in there because I want to test, will it ask me about the mistakes? Will it correct my mistakes? Lus Yulang Lord, that one is correct. Is it correct? Yes, it is correct. CA or ikran Zaul. So here I followed its own rules by putting the Zaul behind the ikran, and I didn't use the R to connect it. So I did exactly what ChatGPT told me, even though it's wrong. And then I didn't use any other grammar. So it is missing L ending here, it's missing T ending here because transitive verb. But yeah, I just wrote a bunch of words without any grammar. Oits mukan mi plunitram. So here what I did, instead of writing my brother, I just wrote I, brother. And then I ignored the R here, even though it itself told me that it should be amib. And then lunitram. Fitseng luhi slave bomb. Here I used the wrong word for the wrong word. I used the noun instead of an adjective. Taron yulusek el steunga. Note that it beforehand told me that the conjunction and for adjectives is se, which is correct. This is very good that it told me that because there are 2 words for and, ulte and se, and for this context, for this grammatical context, we should use se. So it's very good that it gave me that hint, but I ignored that hint and just used ulte instead, which is wrong here. Then I also told it, hey, I found 2 words for brave in the dictionary, tsteo and tsteunga. What's the difference? I used tsteunga in my sentence here, which is wrong. Okay, you did fantastic. No, I didn't. I really didn't. But I noticed that in the past already that it always tells me that I'm doing fantastic, no matter how badly I do. Lus Yulang Lor, perfect. CA or ikran Zaul, also perfect. No. This is wrong. This sentence is super wrong. It has no grammar in it. It should not tell me that's good. Nice work, a tiny tweak. Neo is amib, not mib itself in the attributive position. So it should be way smukan amib lunitram. Also not my way, not just oe. This correction is correct. This correction is also correct, even though it's framed the wrong way, in my opinion. Otherwise, that's fine. So this is a good correction here. Fitsing lo he slave bomb. Perfect, this place is small but peaceful. No, not perfect. Bomb is not an adjective, it's a noun. There should have been another word here. Taron yulusek el oitet steunga. Really good. Sek el sinitram is a fixed phrase, strong and happy, but sek el sitit steunga works fine too. But sek el sinitram doesn't make any sense in this context. So bringing this up doesn't make any sense because he didn't ask for strong and happy, he asked for strong and brave. So sek el sinitram doesn't make any sense in the sentence. So naming this as an alternative makes no sense. Minot ulte and well, C is the end for list, so it should be Taron Yusek El Sitit Steunga. It found one mistake, very good, but it didn't note my wrong word here, it should have been steo. But we get to that, the difference steo versus tit steunga. Steo is brave, courageous as an adjective. You can use it directly with a noun, Taron Yut Steo, a brave hunter. Tit steunga, bravery, courage, a noun. Aha, so it's a noun, but here it told me it's correct to use it as an adjective. So that doesn't make sense. Lu tit steunga. He, she has bravery. That's wrong. So first of all, tit steunga is indeed also an adjective. The difference is that steu is brave for a person, so a person can be brave, while everything that's not a person, like words can be tit steunga, actions can be tit steunga, and so on. So they're both adjectives, and tit steu would be bravery or courage. So this is already wrong, and then here the double lu doesn't make any sense. If you want to say he or she has bravery, you would say lu poru tit steu. So yeah, doesn't make any sense, wrong. Then I started asking questions. You are wrong. When I look up new in the dictionary, it shows only meep, not a meep. Then yeah, here it was thinking for a long time. That was very funny. That was very funny. It actually looked, this is my website. It looked at my website. Yeah, like it looked at a lot of things apparently, which is great. But yeah, it was thinking for a very long time here, which I found very funny. You're right, the dictionaries list meep. That's the base predicate form neo. Yes, meep is indeed the new. Oh, not neo, new, sorry. There's also a Natvi word neo. So when I see the English word new and I talk about Natvi, then I automatically want to pronounce it as neo. In Natvi, when adjectives modifies a noun, you add the adjective marker a to the adjective closest to the noun. So, polu meep, there no a, then with a, to the a meep, new person, sko a meep, a new bow. This is correct. But it still tells me I have to put it after. Like, it's like, oh, you always have to put it, it's always the a and then the adjective, which is wrong. Like, I could also say mipa tute, mipa tsko. That's why we have the a, because we need to connect them together, because the adjective could be between two nouns and then we don't know where to which noun belongs. So it gets kind of the concept that we need the a somewhere, but it completely misses the point of it. So the fix I suggested earlier still stands, because we're using neo with the new with the noun. Wait, smukan ami plunitram. By the way, I missed another mistake actually. It should be efu here. So efu nitram, he feels happy, not he is happy. If it helps keltra, blah blah blah. So yeah, it gives some things. And I was like, I'm confused. Then why is ca or ikran zaul correct? For I see the big ikran. Do we only need the a on some adjectives? And I was like, okay, hopefully this will help it to admit where it's wrong and like go into the right direction. No, it just doubled down. It doubled down so much. Great catch. This is where Natvi adjectives can feel tricky at first. Matsmukan, smuke. Let's untangle this. Two kinds of adjectives in Natvi. Like I was like, do we need only on some adjectives? And it completely like lunged into this idea. Oh yeah, we have two different kinds of adjectives, of course. We have two groups, the plain ones that can just be as they are, and then we also have the stem adjectives that need the a. And why? This is not a thing in Natvi. This is wrong. This is so wrong. Then also again, predicate versus attributive. Yeah, fine. While this is completely wrong again. Then again, it doubles down on ca or ikran zaul being 100% correct, while no, it misses two case endings, it misses the a. But yeah, quick reference, ikran zaul, big ikran, siulang lor, beautiful flower. Here it misses, by the way, it misses some definition, so it should be sute or I sute, because the island nights. So it's like, there are big mistakes overall, and then there are many more small mistakes. So yeah, not all the adjectives need a. That is indeed correct. There are exceptions. Like at the very beginning when gave examples. Like here you have your exceptions. The a doesn't need an a because it already has an a. The tr doesn't need an a because it starts with a le. It's a le adjective. So there are exceptions. But no, you can still use the a with, for example, the le tr. So you can say le a le tr. That still works. And a, actually, that's a phonological process. It has nothing to do with two different groups of adjectives. It's just a phonological process that if you have two times a, they become one a in Forest Natvi. In Reef Natvi, you would actually say a ba. So they would say two a's. So yeah, it gets it very, very wrong. And this is just not correct. Then it asked me, do you want me to put together a list of common adjectives that do versus don't need the a? I was like, great, do it. Let's look at what you're making up. Why? This is so wrong. I mean, it at least gets the words right, mostly. Except for SNEU, student. Since when is student an adjective? Can you tell me that? SNEU, by the way, means beginner, not student. It's also a noun, not an adjective. But yeah. Then adjectives doet niet de A. Again, it gets the kaum means maybe. It is not an adjective. It is an adverb. Lan a kaum, possible feeling. This is no. I think lezunslu is possible. So yeah. Then an that is correct. Kan that is not correct. Kan is a verb, means to intend or to intend to do something. Yeah, predicate, rule, reminder, whatever. Let's ignore that nonsense. But I asked about more things, more word pairs that mean the same. So Truhe versus say el. The difference here is that Truhe is physically strong, say el is mentally strong. Nitram versus Levbom. Nitram is a person being happy. Levbom is like happy, more like, for example, Levbom means good day, so literally happy or peaceful day. So Levbom is the version that you don't use for people. Kuro versus Twin. There is no difference between those two. At least we don't know one yet. We have both words, but a difference has never been specified. Radi versus Venu. I made this word up. Radi doesn't exist. It really doesn't exist. Venu just means food. And what are the differences? Again, the Ewangahu, which does not make any sense in this context. Now it gets interesting. Truhe will say el, wrong. I explained the difference. This is not the difference. This is wrong. Netram versus Levbom kind of makes sense. This sentence is wrong. Ngaru lu Levbom. No, because Levbom is the adjective. So you would say Ngaru Luvbom. You have peace. Peace, note, is a noun. And it is not a question. So to make it a question, you would need to add the srag. Ponitramlu is also wrong because you would use efu here to feel, not lu to be. So this section also is, yeah, wrong. This one here, it says it's a dialect thing, which is wrong. There is no difference between those two, so as far as we know currently. It has nothing to do with dialect. Same here. It again tells me it's a dialect thing, but Radi simply doesn't exist. So I have no idea where it got that from. Then mini cheat sheet, forest versus tree vocab. I was curious what it would put on there because, as I said, there are exactly 2 words where we have a difference so far. So I was curious what other words would put on there. Then I also asked for a short story on A2 level for reading practice with the English translation. We get our mini cheat sheet where it actually only puts words that we already had, and this entire cheat sheet is wrong. It is 100% wrong. There's not one single right thing in here, because none of these are the 2 words that actually have the difference. Short story, Potsmukan amiblu nitram, oetsmukan truose tsteu, oerale, airel tsun ikran tsaul, o ikran tsaul, oetsmukan true tetsteunga, wero ai tsmukan tetsteunga, set tsunfgu tetur. This is very wrong. You can probably already guess that, but yes, it is very wrong. I would attempt to translate what it says. A new brother is happy. So probably his new brother is happy. My brother is strong and brave. Like, the grammar doesn't make any sense here. This word doesn't exist. Maybe they mean meaning, which is ral. I meaning pictures, can, ikran, big. Ikran, big. I, brother, strong, brave. But now the different brave. And I on purpose did just say random words here and did not apply any English grammar, because this is what this is. There is not a single grammar in this line. Not a single piece of grammar in this line. To me, many brother, but the connection is missing. Brave, again connection missing. But can one strength. To me, happy thoughts. There is a lot of connectors and stuff missing again. My new brother is happy. He is strong and brave. No. His foot is on the big ikran. Oh, I made up the word Radi, right? So it got that. Oh yeah, I made up Radi. So it was like, oh yeah, Radi now means foot. Very good. I made it. I made up a new thing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Radi. It changed my word. I made Radi and it now made Rade from it. It changed the word that I made up. I feel violated. So it doesn't, I think, doesn't make sense. The translation is wrong. Some words are correct, so it catches some words, but yeah. Notes for a story. No, this again doesn't make sense. Then I'd asked, what did it ask for? Yeah, a small reading exercise where I hide some words in Navi so you guess them from context. Perfect for A2 practice. Do you want me to do that next? And I was like, oh great, but like the story was so short. It was so short. I wanted something longer. I wanted to write me a long Navi text. So I was like, okay, can you do me a B1 story instead? I'm already B1. I am ready for longer and more complex texts. And it gave me this nonsense. It's a bit longer, I guess. So ja, po cmukan a mi plunitram, o e cmukan t'ur se te steunga se fecenga rel cun ikran zaul af t'e, hu fue wet o ai sef bil fecenge de rei, o e cmukan p'ai t'ur se ne tram, se we p'ai t'ur o de rei cun te t'ur. Zauke fecenge, po cmukan de rei ai sef bil feceng, du p'ai se t'an ai sef bil, se a, o cun si terei ISF bil, o cmukan t'ur sin tram o terei feceng. Okay, if anyone is still watching this point, please applaud for my great fluent reading of this. This is the first time I'm reading this loud. It is complete nonsense. This is so hard to read that fluently. So yeah, there are so many mistakes in there. I don't want to go through the entire thing. Just trust me on this. This entire this complete nonsense with no correct grammar applied. This doesn't make any sense. I want to look at the notes a bit. Past tense is shown with the content words like hufwe. That doesn't make sense. Hufwe means wind. It's a noun. It means wind. And narrative style. So this is nonsense. Relative clause zun ikran zaul of a, one the big ikran and the cliff. There is no relative clause in this English example. So what is it talking about? There is no relative clause in here. There is a relative clause in here, but the relative clause is wrong. No, actually, if we put ikran at zaul of a, then it would be the big ikran which chooses. So ikran of a, the ikran that chooses. So there is indeed a relative clause in here. It needs, the sounds needs to be connected here. I have no idea what it wants with the zun. The zun doesn't make any sense. Intensifiers. I, feceng, isef bil. I means many. Feceng means here or this place. Isef bil means ideas or thoughts. So, no. Combination of adjectives and nouns. Ikran zaul, cmukan ami, feceng terei. Terei means life. So, this is not an adjective. And we talked already about ikran zaul. It should be ikran at zaul. And yeah, it's still on the completely wrong track, thinking that adjectives have to be behind the noun. Repeated structure for fluency. Good B1 reading patterns shows patterns like oh, it's mukan. Interestingly, it corrected me earlier. I wrote oh, it's mukan, and it told me that I'm wrong, and it was correct about that. It should be way it's mukan, my brother, not oh, it's mukan, I brother. So it corrected me on this earlier, and now it does it wrong itself. Ca or tsun si. I have no idea what this is supposed to mean. This is very wrong. Yeah, I would love to tell you, I would love to correct this for you and tell you how to say this correctly, but I don't even know what it's supposed to mean, so I cannot do that. Yeah, if you want blah blah blah, you want me to do that, and this is where I stopped, because then it again got the thing that I cannot use ChatGPT 5 any longer, and I think I had to wait for like 5 hours, so I stopped. As I said, I want to do many more tests, but I was too lazy to wait for many more hours and always repeat everything. And I think it should be very clear that ChatGPT does not at all speak Navi. If you still think that ChatGPT speaks Navi, then I can't help you anymore, I think. I mean, I have had discussions with people who really thought ChatGPT speaks Na'vi, and I showed them proof. Like, they literally, I wrote them the mistake, pointed out the mistakes, and they were like, oh, why should I trust you? ChatGPT definitely knows more than you. So I had to literally find cheats from the internet or the movie. Like, I literally looked at the movie. I sent them screenshots from the movie where they say the line, and then there is the English subtitle. So I literally sent them that, and then point out, hey, ChatGPT says something different, so this must be wrong. And they still didn't believe me. So there are really, okay, I have to say, there are really stupid people out there who believe everything ChatGPT says. Don't do that. ChatGPT really does not speak Na'vi at all. And I think that was it from me. Hi, Yellow Vibe.